What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week of More on Money, where we try to provide you enough entertainment and education to go out into the world and do your own research on the stock market and cryptocurrency and finance and investing and all that good stuff. It's not financial advice. It's called More on Money, and it's hosted by Blind Mike. So you should know that there are no experts involved here, but, do your own research and let me know in the comments what you think of everything I say. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, comment. All of that helps the algorithm, and it helps this channel grow. We're a very small channel, and we're trying to get bigger and bigger every week here, so help us out. We talked a lot on the Patreon yesterday, but for those of you that weren't joining us, I was basically talking about strategy going into the fall, with potential lockdowns and everything going on in the news and all that, and just what your eyes are telling you about the stock market and cryptocurrency. Well, Cardano, among others, is taking off right now. It is heading towards $3. I believe a lot of people are saying $5 to $10 by the end of the year. I think 10 seems a little ambitious, but 5 certainly seems reasonable. Now, again, we talked about this on patreon.com/blindmike yesterday, where you get bonus More on Money. But Cardano is at a point right now where people have asked, a buddy reached out to me who got into Cardano somewhat later than I did. And he asked if it was a good time to sell or what he should do. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do with your money. But what I can tell you is that I bought in at Cardano around 30 cents. So everything for me has been good so far. And I took profits back in, was it March or May? I forget when I believe it was March, when we had the crazy price surge in, again, all of crypto, but Cardano in particular. And I sold right around where we are now, maybe a little less, maybe around 220, 230. I sold a little bit, and I spread that money out. Yeah, some into savings, some into stocks, some into crypto, which we'll talk about that again in a second. And some of it was just taking profits, but I left the majority of my Cardano in there. So with stuff like crypto, which I heavily believe in the future, if it's a crypto like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, with me, Cardano is one of these where I believe it has a long-term future. I'll never sell all of it. I might take profits. I'm not selling any Bitcoin or Ethereum. But with something like Cardano that I have a lot of, like I said, I bought it at 30 cents, so I had quite a bit. I sold a very small percentage and, stocked away a few bucks. Socked away? Is that the expression? I don't know. But I put away a few bucks, but I still have the heavy majority sitting in Cardano. So if we hit $3 or $3.50 or $5, I might take profits again. But the thing to look at with Cardano is that September 12th date that I've mentioned before. You also see September 13th and 14th thrown out there. I don't know why there's a discrepancy of dates. I believe Charles Hoskinson said September 12th will be the day that Cardano launches smart contracts. So keep an eye on that day. Not just what it does in price, because there have been other hard forks. The merry hard fork we had a few months ago with Cardano. People, the price didn't go too crazy. So I feel like people were maybe a little disappointed with that. Well, this, what is it, Alonzo hard fork now that we sit upon with Cardano. That's when smart contracts will go into effect. But don't just look at the price that day. Look at what institutions and what companies are getting on board with Cardano and who is using smart contracts. To me, that's the more valuable information because that tells you, if you see a few fly-by-night operations using Cardano and no one else, then maybe it's a great time to take profits. However, if you see, big names and big money getting into Cardano, then say, oh, hold on a second. Let's see what this is all about. And then again, maybe you take profits at a small percentage, but you hold on to the majority of your ADA. So let me know in the comments what your strategy is with Cardano. I personally, like I said, I'm going to at least see what And you know, it depends on your situation as well. Because another buddy texted me and about Cardano, and he and I both have quite a bit. And I said, I'm holding on for $5. And he said, honestly, at 350, I think I might get rid of all of it because I can pay off my student loans. And you know, in my mind, you know, I can't advise anyone because I'm not a financial advisor, as I've mentioned. But what I wanted to say to him was, is that small thinking? But it's also hard when you have student debt or something like that looming over you, or if you're just trying to pay your bills or whatever, it's hard to tell that person, well, don't take profits right now. So maybe put yourself in a situation where you can do a little of both. You can hold on to a little Cardano for the future in case it does go to $10 or beyond. But you also want to make sure that you know, all your bills are paid and that you have a good quality of life in the here and now. And as far as crypto goes, yes, everything is thriving right now. All the news with Bitcoin is good. We hear every day. I told you a couple weeks ago about Amazon hiring a cryptocurrency executive. Now other companies have followed suit. I think the first one we saw do that actually was Apple. Now Amazon, now Walmart, and other European companies as well are on board as far as doing this. More and more, you're seeing companies adopt crypto, whether it's, excuse me, just someone who has to, you know, whether it's just that they're hiring executives that have a background in blockchain technology or cryptocurrency, or it's, you know, more in depth, like BlackRock investing in mining companies and blockchain technology. So you're seeing financial heavyweights all get into Bitcoin more and more. And the reality is that they've probably been into it for a while. They have ways of skirting around, like even with Elon Musk saying last month that not only does Tesla own Bitcoin, but he does and SpaceX does. Well, the latter two, he never had to mention. He never had to tell us that he and SpaceX owned um, Bitcoin because he and SpaceX are not publicly traded companies. He did have to fess up to Tesla at some point, but the only reason we know about him and SpaceX owning Bitcoin is because he did that little conference with Cathie Wood and Jack Dorsey. Now, how many other billionaires and trillionaires have not told us that they have Bitcoin in some capacity? And maybe it's like BlackRock, where you own 9 million shares of a mining company or something like that. But they do all have their fingers in the pie in some way, I believe. So crypto, it's pretty clear, is not going anywhere. We just saw another thing we talked about this week is a European soccer team taking full sponsorship payments in crypto. I don't know if it was all Bitcoin, but it was all cryptocurrency. Stuff like that tells you that these financial giants want to get their mitts on crypto any way they can. So as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum, I told you that I could definitely see Cardano at $5 by the end of the year. Some people are saying 10. With Bitcoin and Ethereum, you hear a lot of predictions of Bitcoin going to 6 figures by the end of the year, and Ethereum, you hear more around $10,000 by the end of the year. I'm not particularly confident in either of those, although I could easily see Bitcoin going to $100,000. However, I see it more around 80,000. I just think the further we get into the year, the idea of now we sit at 47 today, so it more than doubling by the end of the year. And you know, the further into the fall we get, where we're still saying we're at, you know, 50,000, we have to get to 100. It just feels unlikely to me. However, I don't know anything about the charts or anything like that. I am, again, not a financial analyst, not an expert. I don't really know how to predict this stuff, but just based on the trends that I've seen being in the market for the last year or so, it seems unlikely to me that we would get to $100,000. But I do believe all-time highs of 65 to 80,000 is probably more realistic. And I think it's very possible that you could see a $6,000 to $8,000 Ethereum during this run as well. And that's being conservative. And the reason I think like that is because when I got into crypto, I started hearing predictions not just of $100,000, but by this time this year, Bitcoin would be at $450,000 and things like that. So I've heard millions of those predictions to where I'm at the point now where I say, all right, let's be a little more conservative with it. I do think we'll get there. I think you'll see a $500,000 Bitcoin, and I think you'll see $1 million Bitcoin. It seems like just simple math to me, where if it has the adoption that we believe it will, where countries and institutions are adopting it in at mass. I'm sure I didn't use that right. I can't think of the right words. In bulk? Is that how you would buy crypto, I guess? But when you see massive adoption, maybe that's what I was trying to say, around the world, $1 million Bitcoin seems actually pretty reasonable. And the Winklevoss twins have broken down how if Bitcoin just takes over gold and matches what gold is today, then mathematically, Bitcoin would be at $500,000. So that seems pretty reasonable at the very least, that Bitcoin will match gold. And Ethereum, you're seeing, a lot of talk that Ethereum is going to pass Bitcoin. So, and that would, I believe that would be in market cap only. I don't know if we're going to have, I'd have to do the math on what that would put the Ethereum market cap at. But if we have a $50,000 Ethereum, that's pretty insane. I'm not sure what their market, let me know in the comments, do the quick math. Let me know what their market cap would be. But now that Ethereum is burning at such a rate, they've now burned hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum. And that gas fee is going down and down and down. And the talk is that eventually, if we're not there already, I don't think we're there yet, but we may be seeing just a $2 gas fee for Ethereum, which is pretty good news, because that's what we hoped that EIP 1559 would do, where you make Ethereum deflationary, which also lowers its gas fee, which was Ethereum's big problem. And if you don't know what the gas fee is, it's simply like, just think of a cost of using something. Basically, the cost it takes to run the Ethereum network is what the gas fee was. And for a lot of people, like when I wanted to move, I had to wait to move my Ethereum into BlockFi, because when I wanted to do it on the Ethereum network originally, it was taking a sizable chunk of what I held. I did not have much Ethereum at the time, so I didn't want to lose it all just paying to make the transaction. So that seems to have been helped with the latest Ethereum upgrade. And like I said, making it deflationary and burning all the Ethereum they have should only help that price continue to skyrocket. You're going to see a supply shock soon, I do believe. So what does all this mean? Well, it means that, ironically, I'm not buying into the crypto market right now. Now, if you do not hold any cryptocurrency at all, my recommendation, again, not advice, look into it before you do anything, but what I would do is buy into Bitcoin, and if you can, Ethereum, Cardano, Chainlink, XRP, and what am I missing? Litecoin. Those are the ones I trust. So look into those. I mean, there's 10 million cryptocurrencies. Some are trusted more than others. A lot of the smaller cap altcoins people think have a much better chance of making a massive run in this bull market. Like, I do also hold VeChain and Zilliqa, which I think have a lot of potential to make a run, but I'm just not quite as confident in them. But my point is, if you have none of any of these altcoins or Bitcoin, then think about buying some and dollar cost averaging in. So when you can't, maybe make a date every month where you on the first of every month or whenever you get your paycheck, whatever it is for you, think about dollar cost averaging in, where every week, every 2 weeks, every month, you accumulate a little more. And while that number will seem very small now, you'll start to gain more and more. And again, I'll recommend using something like BlockFi or Celsius to earn interest on your crypto. And that way, that small number is still increasing by small increments every month, compounded monthly. Excuse me again. So that would be my suggestion if you hold no Bitcoin. Now, if you hold, or crypto in general. Now, if you hold plenty of crypto and you're wondering, is this a good time to buy more? People are saying it's going to take off. Me personally, I would hold off and set my sights on the stock market. So what's happening in the stock market right now is it seems we're seeing at the very least a correction. Um, I think the entire time I've had this channel and the entire time I've been doing Patreon and everything else on More on Money, I have talked about the potential for a stock market crash. We've seen plenty of pullbacks in that time. We have not seen a crash. I am still predicting it will come, but you never know when or anything like that. But we are seeing a pullback right now. I think people are scared of a potential lockdown and all that, and that will definitely affect the stock market. So, as I always say, and as Warren Buffett said, when others are fearful, be greedy, and when others are greedy, be fearful. Meaning, all the attention is on cryptocurrency right now, and you're going to see everyone telling you that this is the time to buy crypto. This is when you should buy crypto. Get into cryptocurrency. Not so fast, my friends, as Lee Corso would say. Look at the stock market right now, and look at and see if there are any stocks that you like that are attractive to you. Because the reason I'm doing More on Money is I like an idiot like me at the start of the pandemic, and let's face it, I got very lucky because I bought when it was a historic crash because of the lockdown and everything. So I did get very lucky, but I was able to make six figures in a year in the stock market and cryptocurrency. So the reason I started this channel is to basically just tell you guys that it's very easy, even if you're a dummy like me, to make money in the stock market and cryptocurrency as long as you know what you're doing and pay close attention. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to make, again, six figures or something like that. But if you want to set yourself up for future wealth, for a retirement plan or something like that, that I do believe is relatively easy. And I think, a lot of the financial giants. Now, keep in mind, as I often do, as I'm telling you this, the proof that I'm not a financial expert is that my alarm went off just reminding me to take my medication so I don't go insane. So that is something to bear in mind, that I am on crazy pills as I pontificate about my vast wealth. Who knows if I even really have it? I may be schizophrenic for all we know. So what I was saying is to set yourself up for a future where you don't have to work till you're 75 years old and all of that. I believe that is relatively easy. And of course, there are bumps in the road. There are stock market crashes that are unforeseen. There are companies that maybe you trusted that will end up closing down. But I believe the key to me is diversifying. So little scandals or controversies like that don't impact you tremendously. So have your share of growth stocks, cryptocurrency, have things that you're betting on long term, but also have things that you trust long term. Like have a little bit of, for me, I have a little bit of Apple. I have a little bit of Tesla, which again, maybe that isn't even the most trustworthy, but I hold one of my larger percentages in the stock market is Netflix. So I'll use Netflix as the example because I think they're one of the best. You might look at Netflix right now and say, how much higher can Netflix go? And I'll admit to you, you're not going to get crazy rich having, one or two shares of Netflix, certainly. However, having Netflix stock is a good safety net. And also you will make money because I believe, like I said, how can Netflix grow? Well, cable is not officially dead yet. I believe it will be at some point. And I think that happens when streaming services start gobbling up live sports and live news. And, live events like the Oscars or whatever else people would watch live. That will happen eventually. And that's when Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, and maybe, one or two others become Comcast, Verizon, whatever the other big cable companies are. So that's one way they expand. Again, Netflix has talked about getting into the video game space, which I've talked about that. So that's them growing again. With something like Disney, it's them even grow by accumulating all those titles. They expand their theme parks and all sorts of merchandise and all of that. So while you may look at these and say, well, Netflix stock is right now like $540. How much higher is it really going to go? It's a good safety net because those companies do earn you money year over year. They continue to grow. But also with something like Netflix, I think there is a lot of room for growth. So companies you trust. And I mean, the other big thing for me in the recession or crash or whatever you want to call it last year was not just buying Penn National and Digital Turbine, which I took kind of a risk on, but also buying things like Anheuser-Busch and Uber and Disney and JetBlue. I'm trying to think of some of the others, but there were a bunch that I said, okay. And to be fair, back then I thought the lockdown would last 2 weeks, but with a lot of those stocks, I said, well, these aren't going to shut down. And with JetBlue, it got a little close, if I'm being honest. But like I knew Anheuser-Busch wasn't going to be down forever. Anheuser-Busch was down maybe close to 70% or more when I bought it. Same Uber was well over 50% down. And I looked at these and I said, well, these are going to bounce back. And sure enough, they did. And that's where I made a lot of my money. So if you watch the stock market, keep an eye on companies you like that you think will have rapid growth in the future, which for me, those are Tilray, Nano Dimension, Penn National, Velodyne, Stitch Fix, Remark Holdings, Veritone. Should I give you the ticker codes for all of these? TLRY, Penn, VLDR, Remark Holdings is MARK, Veritone is VERI. Those last two are AI companies. Stitch Fix is SFIX. So all those are companies that I think could have rapid growth in the future. CRISPR, CRSP, I've told you about before. Invitae, NVTA. Look into all these, but look into whatever yours are. Look into what sectors you think will grow and who you think the leaders of those sectors will be. So those are two ways. And then I would say the third way is investing in ETFs and high dividend yield trading firms, or high dividend yield paying stocks. That's what I was looking for. Trading firms. See, I am a dope, folks. Never forget that. High dividend yield paying stocks and ETFs. Because those are often more secure, particularly companies that can pay high dividend yields are typically a safer bet. And ETFs are often a safer bet because they hedge their bets a little bit. For example, I just mentioned Penn National. Well, you could also buy Round Hill Sports Betting, ticker BETZ, which is a sports betting and iGaming ETF. So they don't just hold Penn National, but they also hold DraftKings and a bunch of other stocks in the gambling and gaming sector. So that's a little bit of a safer bet because, say I'm wrong about Penn National, well, that'll hurt Round Hill Sports Betting, but not quite the impact that it will if you're just a Penn stockholder. And that's true of a lot of ETFs, particularly over the last few months. I've focused on S&P 500 and more trustworthy ETFs like that have invested in some of those top tier companies that I've talked about. And the reason is because the price like I just said, the price fluctuation with ETFs is obviously going to be less volatile, and that makes it safer for your money. So having some of those ETFs and high dividend yield paying funds helps you out and helps you offset a lot of those riskier growth stocks or penny stocks or whatever you happen to be gambling on. You also have some trustworthy stocks in the bank as well. And the thing about high dividend yield paying stocks is I always preface this with saying you'll find a lot of videos on YouTube and a lot of articles that say, pay your rent with these 3 high dividend paying stocks, or, pay your phone bill or become a millionaire on these 5 high dividend stocks. Yes, you can do that if you invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into those stocks. Now, you might be saying, Mike, I'm a guy who's watching, or a gal who's watching More on Money, and it just so happens I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest. Well, that's pretty normal, and that's actually what I expected. But high dividend yield paying stocks, to me, are not the quick fix that a lot of people are looking for. But over the course of 25 years, if you start dollar cost averaging in, I think those high dividend stocks and ETFs will be great for your retirement fund. So those are much more long term. Whereas, again, I believe all those growth stocks that I talked about are long term as well. But there will be a greater payoff, whereas you're really playing the long game with high dividend yield paying stocks. And hey, maybe today, when you get one of those dividend payments, it'll only be 9 cents or $1.20. But you keep accumulating and adding that up. Hey, in a year, those are paying you, 10, 15 bucks. And in 5 or 10 years, those are paying you a few $100s a month, whatever, or quarterly, or however often. There are monthly dividend paying stocks as well. The one I think I have the most of is Prospect Capital. So look into them. PSEC, I think, is the ticker code. I hope I'm not wrong on that. But yeah, so that's my pontificating and my soliloquy for the day. I hope that helps you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And let me know any questions you have that you have been burning a hole in your mind that I haven't gotten to. Anything you want me to look into as far as stocks or cryptocurrency, I'd be happy to. Leave all of those in the comments, or just tell me to have a great day and you think I'm a handsome guy. Whatever it is you put in the comments, that helps the algorithm. If you'd be so kind as to smash the like button, as they say, and subscribe to the channel. All of that helps the algorithm. If you want notifications for More on Money, tap the notification bell as well. And then you'll always see when we are up, because these free More on Monies are always on Friday, but I never tell you what time, so you want to be notified. And sometimes we pop in with a bonus episode. And we have the Blind Mike Project on here as well, so you'll be notified to all of that. And if you like More on Money and you want more of it, we do bonus episodes on patreon.com/blindmike. You can join and watch live streams there for as little as $1 a month. And if you want More on Money for 1 or 2 episodes per week bonus, that you can subscribe at the $5 or $10 levels and become a gearhead. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining me. This was a bit of a long one, huh? I think. I don't know. But regardless, I hope it helped in some form or fashion. And I'll talk to you on Sunday on Patreon. Until then, keep making money, folks.